The rustle of plastic bags, the endless aisles gleaming under fluorescent lights, the dizzying array of choices promising convenience, novelty, and often, fleeting satisfaction. This is the modern temple of consumption we call the grocery store. It is a place far removed, seemingly, from the quiet solitude of Walden Pond, from the simple, deliberate existence of Henry David Thoreau. And yet, I propose that within this very landscape of plenty, within the very act of provisioning ourselves with food, there lies an opportunity, a profound necessity even, to revisit the timeless wisdom of that singular individual. For if Thoreau were to find himself amidst our bounty, I suspect he would not be overwhelmed, but rather, he would observe, question, and ultimately, distill the experience down to its most essential truth: the art of grocery shopping for the minimalist. Thoreau, of course, never grocery shopped in our contemporary understanding of the term. His larder was the forest, the lake, and his meticulously cultivated bean field. He was his own purveyor, his own merchant, his own distiller of necessity from the raw materials of nature. His life at Walden was a radical experiment in self-sufficiency, a deliberate choice to pare back the superfluous and live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if he could not learn what it had to teach. He sought to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to drive life into a corner, and reduce it to its lowest terms. This profound ethos, this unwavering commitment to essentialism, is not merely a historical curiosity. It is a vital, guiding philosophy for how we, in our own complex era, might approach the fundamental act of feeding ourselves. Consider the sheer volume, the almost oppressive abundance, that greets us upon entering a modern supermarket. Thousands upon thousands of items, each vying for our attention, promising a shortcut, a delight, a solution. For Thoreau, such profusion would have been anathema, a distraction from the true work of living. He understood that wealth was not measured in possessions, but in the richness of one's experience, the clarity of one's thought, and the freedom from unnecessary burdens. To engage in minimalist grocery shopping, then, is to begin by internalizing this Thoreauvian principle, to understand that the true value of food lies not in its variety or its packaging, but in its ability to nourish, to sustain, and to be acquired with intention. The first pillar of this Thoreauvian approach is intentional living. For Thoreau, every act, every moment was an opportunity for consciousness. He did not drift through his days. He actively charted his course. Similarly, minimalist grocery shopping begins long before one steps foot in an aisle. It commences with a quiet reflection, a deliberate survey of one's actual needs. What meals will truly sustain us in the coming week? What ingredients, and precisely how much of each, are genuinely required to bring those meals to fruition? This is not about rigid adherence to a draconian list, but about cultivating an awareness, a discernment that cuts through the noise of impulse and desire. It is the antithesis of mindlessly filling a cart with whatever catches the eye, whatever marketing ploy has proven most effective. It is, in essence, an act of premeditation, a commitment to a life lived by design, not by default. This intentionality naturally leads to self-reliance, another cornerstone of Thoreau's philosophy. While few of us today possess the land or the time to cultivate our entire food supply, the spirit of self-reliance can still profoundly shape our grocery habits. It manifests in choosing whole, unprocessed ingredients over prepackaged, convenience foods. It is the conscious decision to bake one's own bread, to chop one's own vegetables, to prepare meals from scratch rather than relying on the labor of others, packaged and preserved. This isn't about austerity for its own sake, but about reclaiming a fundamental connection to our food. When we engage in the process of transformation, from raw ingredient to finished meal, we not only gain a deeper appreciation for what we consume, but we also retain control over its quality, its nutritional content, and its provenance. We become, in a small but significant way, our own farmers, our own cooks, our own masters of sustenance, reducing our dependence on the opaque machinations of industrial food production. Then there is the resounding call to simplicity and reduction. Simplify, simplify, Thoreau urged, recognizing that most of the luxuries and many of the so-called comforts of life are not only not indispensable, but positive hindrances to the elevation of mankind. In the context of grocery shopping, this translates to a relentless editing of our consumption patterns. Do we truly need 3 different types of mustard? Or will one high-quality, versatile option suffice? Is a pantry overflowing with esoteric spices more enriching than a thoughtfully curated selection that is actually used? Simplicity is not deprivation. It is liberation. It frees us from the mental clutter of too many choices, the physical clutter of overstocked shelves, and the financial burden of unnecessary purchases. It encourages us to seek out the essential, the multipurpose, the durable. It is about distilling our food needs to their purest form, embracing the elegance of fewer, better things. This brings us directly to conscious consumption. Thoreau was acutely aware of the true cost of things, not just in monetary terms, but in the life spent to acquire them. He questioned the value of possessions that demanded more of our time and energy to maintain than they ever truly gave back. For the minimalist grocery shopper, conscious consumption means looking beyond the price tag. It involves considering the environmental impact of what we buy, the carbon footprint of transport, the ethical implications of production, the health consequences of additives and preservatives. It is about choosing seasonal produce when possible, supporting local farmers, and understanding the journey of our food from earth to table. It is an act of mindfulness, a refusal to participate blindly in a system that often prioritizes profit over planetary well-being or human health. By making deliberate choices, we not only nourish ourselves but also cast a vote for a more sustainable, more just food system. And finally, perhaps most critically in our age of excess, there is the principle of waste reduction. Thoreau, living close to the land, understood the inherent value of every resource. To waste food would have been unthinkable, an affront to the labor of cultivation and the generosity of nature. In our modern context, where an astonishing amount of edible food is discarded daily, this Thoreauvian ethic is more urgent than ever. Minimalist grocery shopping inherently fosters waste reduction. By buying only what is needed, we reduce spoilage. By planning meals, we ensure every ingredient serves a purpose. By embracing self-reliance, we often learn to utilize parts of food that might otherwise be discarded: carrot tops for pesto, vegetable scraps for broth. It extends to mindful storage, creative repurposing of leftovers, and ultimately, composting what truly cannot be consumed. It is an act of respect for the food itself, for the resources that went into its production, and for the planet that sustains us. Imagine a shopping trip guided by these principles. It is not a frantic dash, nor a leisurely wander through temptations. It is a focused expedition. Your list is concise, born of intention and careful planning. You seek out quality, not merely quantity. You select ingredients that promise to be transformed by your own hands, rather than prefabricated solutions. You are aware of the origins of your produce, perhaps even engaging with the vendor, connecting with the human story behind your food. Your basket, when full, is not overflowing with impulse buys or extraneous items, but holds precisely what is needed: a curated collection of sustenance, acquired with purpose and an understanding of its true worth. This approach to grocery shopping is not about deprivation. It is about abundance of a different kind. It is about gaining time that would otherwise be spent agonizing over choices or dealing with clutter. It is about acquiring mental clarity, freed from the low-level anxiety of an overflowing pantry or a refrigerator full of forgotten items. It is about financial liberation, as unnecessary purchases are eliminated. Most importantly, it is about a profound reconnection with our food, with the earth, and with ourselves. It transforms a mundane chore into an act of mindful engagement, a daily practice of living deliberately. Thoreau went to the woods because he wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if he could not learn what it had to teach. He left his experiment at Walden with a deeper understanding of himself and the world around him. We, too, can engage in our own small, daily experiments in deliberate living, even within the confines of our modern lives. The grocery store, with its dazzling complexity, offers a unique proving ground. By applying Thoreau's timeless wisdom, his unwavering call for intentionality, self-reliance, simplicity, conscious consumption, and waste reduction, we transform the act of feeding ourselves from a mere transaction into a profound affirmation of our values. We choose not just what we eat, but how we live. We choose to wake up. We choose to live deep. And in doing so, we bring a little piece of Walden, a little piece of deliberate living, right into our own kitchens and onto our own plates.